Thank you for making Saints Central
your black and gold home for the New Orleans Saints.
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who?
Yeah. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
They closed it really well, man. They did a wonderful job. 35-14 as the clock runs out. The Saints go happily into the bye. Coach Rizzy runs out and congratulates Jameis, gives Kevin Stefanski a handshake and several other of the coaches. And he's 2-0, man. Coach Rizzy doing a wonderful job. Coach Rizzy did a wonderful job, man, as Jameis is hugging Taysom Hill. And, you know, Jameis is very well liked, and he's hugging DeMario and all those guys as they're lining up to hug on Jameis. And listen, man, Jameis Winston, man, he was well loved, one of the well liked people down here. But listen, Jameis put on a game. Jameis put on a game, man. He threw for almost 400 yards and 2 touchdowns in this joint. He played really well for the Browns. It just wasn't enough. The Saints just had a lot going on. Defensively, we had the necessary stops and we won it. So once again, Saints get the dub 35-14, a runaway win. They scored 21 points in the fourth quarter to completely blow this game out. And they will improve to 4-7 on the season. Rizzy, 2-0 as the coach, man. Let's hit the team statistics. We'll dial up and have the the post-game press conference, press conference with Coach Rizzy momentarily. We'll have all that dialed up. Y'all stay where y'all are. We'll go over the stats. We'll bring in Pops Q to get his words and thoughts on the game, man. But like I said, we'll go to our press conference view from Coach Rizzy and Saints, and there's going to be a bunch of them that's going to talk. We'll do that momentarily, but let's hit these stats and go over some stuff here. All right, Saints finished 19 first downs to the Browns 22. You look at the third down, Saints were 50%, man, from third down. They were 5 of 10. Browns were 3 of 13. Saints 1 of 1 on fourth down. Browns had a lot more plays than the Saints. They had 70 plays versus 58. The Saints did get better with those yards, 473 to 443, 11 all on the drives, 8.2 yards per play for the Saints versus 6.3 by the Browns. The passing attack, you see, the Browns had 377 yards throwing the ball versus, what is that by Jameis? By Carr, 259. And you see the average, the yard per pass was something, 8.6 by the Saints with 1 interception. That was from Taysom. And we'll go over individuals momentarily. The running attack really, look what the running attack did between Elvin and Taysom. Very much a lot of this was Taysom Hill. Taysom had a bunch of yards. 100. The Saints had 214 rushing yards. with Taysom and Elvin together, 28 attempts. They averaged 7.6 yards per rush. Versus the Browns, the Saints held the Browns down. 20 attempts, 3.3 yards per rush. They had 66 yards. So the defense had a good performance in stopping the rushing attack, not so much the pass. 5 penalties for 41 yards versus 3 for 14 by the Browns. 2 turnovers there, which was the fumble, loss, and interception. Saints in the time of possession game, barely 30 minutes, 38 seconds versus 29 minutes, 22 seconds, which was basically a wash. The teams basically held the ball 30 minutes apiece. And then, of course, we look into the individual statistics. Derek Carr finished 21 of 27, 248, 9.2 yards per throw, 2 touchdowns, sack once. His rating was off the chain, 129.6. Despite a few arid throws there, the dude did a solid job for the Saints today. And this is what you expect from Derek Carr. 21 of 27, 248, 9.2 yards per average yards per throw, 2 touchdowns, sack once, 129.6. Very solid out, and you got to give him some credit on these numbers because this is what you want him to do. This is what you want. Taysom Hill was a brute. Everything was put on Taysom Hill's shoulder. He played every position except for defensive end and the water boy. He finished 7 carries for $138. He averaged 20 yards a carry and had 3 rushing touchdowns. Elvin finished with 16 rushes for 67 yards, 4.2 yard average. Carr scrambled 1 time for 8 yards. Jordan Mims had 2 for 3, but the bulk of it came from Taysom and Elvin. The bulk of it from really Taysom. He had 138 of the 214 and 3 touchdowns. Just give it to him. Taysom Hill gets the ball of the game. He gets the player of the game. No doubt about it. Now, he did have the turnover, the interception, and the fumble, but in the end, he's responsible for 3 touchdowns. He more than made up for that with his performance. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 2 catches for 87 yards. He had a touchdown again today on the deep variety, 71-yard long one off of 4 targets. Foster Moreau got knocked out of the game, came back in the game, made some plays, 3 catches, 50 yards. He averaged almost 7 yards per catch. Taysom had 8 catches to go along with 130-something yards for 50 yards off of 10 targets. Taysom is the man. Juwan, 3 for 30. He also had a touchdown. So Juwan caught everything that Derek Carr threw for him. 3 passes, 3 targets, 3 passes, 30 yards, 10-yard average in the score. Elvin, 4 for 22 off of 4 targets. Kevin Austin Jr., 1 of 2 for 18. Pettis was 1 for 9 for 1. 1 for 9. And he also had a fantastic return that set up that drive to help the Saints start that barreling of that 21 points. So it was fantastic. Demario Davis got back to double-digit tackles today. 13 tackles for Demario Davis. Hugo Amadi in the nickel role. 9 tackles from Alante had 8, 6 for Werner. Tyron had 5 along with Will Harris playing. Brian Bresee had a sack and a half today. Carl Grandison got him 1. Chase Young had a half a sack. So there you go with Brian Bresee cutting up in the interior as he did a backflip. Not a backflip, but he got up. But that big guy doing stuff like that, need to get him in the starting lineup some kind of way. And, of course, you've seen Pettis. He had that 53-yard run that helped set up everything. Blake Grupe did not kick a field goal today. Matt Hayball had 3 punts for $110, and he put all 3 of those punts inside the 20-yard line for the Saints today, and it was fantastic. Jameson's return finished 30 of 46 for 395, 8.6 yard per throw, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times, had a rating of 106.7. Nick Chubb held to 50 yards off 11 carries. Jerome Ford, 5 carries for 10 yards, nothing shaking. They were completely shut down, and then when the Saints went on the spree, they had to abandon the running attack. Jerry Jeudy had a pretty decent game. 6 catches off 11 targets for $142, 23.7 yards per average and a touchdown. David Njoku, 9 catches for 81 yards off of 10 targets. Elijah Moore, 6 catches off of 8 targets for 66 yards and a score with the toe tipping. Cedric Tillman, 3 catches for 47 yards off of 8 targets. Jerome Ford, the backup back, 4 for 4 for 29. Denzel Ward did get a fumble recovery and an interception, but in the end, Del Pitt led the team in tackles. He had 9. Bush had 8 on top of the team. And of course, the Saints only allowed 1 sack, and that was Ogbo Okoronkwo. I hope I've said that right. Probably not. But anyway, y'all get it. All right. And Dustin Hopkins, who was not the kicker, but the actual actor, Dustin Hopkins missed 2 field goals for the Cleveland Browns. Might as well have been the actor because that's an old man out there. But in the end, that's what ended up happening as the Saints get the dub against the Browns and send the Browns packing as we keep it moving. Anyway, we'll kind of transition to hearing from those guys. We're going to bring in Pops Q. Pops Q, are you ready, man? We're going to bring him in to be heard and see what the word is. All right, we're going to bring him in just a second. Hold on, just stay right there, Pops. All right, let's give a shout out to OG to the 3rd degree. Says, I need your best Rizzy today. I can't. I gotta listen to it, bro. I'm still not there, brother. I'm still not there. But thank you, man.
Thank you. Fuck too kind.
Oh man, I still gotta work on it, man. Rizzy is raspy. You know, he's raspy, man. I still gotta work on it, brother. I'm still not there with my Rizzy game right now, bro. What's up, Pops? How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing fine, son. I enjoyed watching the game. You know, I see that they did come out and played with some. It looked like they played today. They were having fun. They started having some fun playing. I know the game seemed like it's fun to them. You know,
right?
They executed. They had a few miscues. I mean, that's part of the NFL, but for the most part, I think they executed very well. They finally let Taysom go, and you can see what Taysom can do when you let him go, and that's what they were doing. Taysom really won the game for us by his superb running and people missing tackles. I mean, he is a big guy, so not too many people can stop him once he gets a head of steam going, and he got it going today, and he helped us with this win.
Yeah, he did. Pops. Taysom Hill was awesome, man. We just went over the numbers individually speaking of Taysom performance. Now, he did have some turnovers that kind of kept things close, but boy, Clint Kubiak obviously loves Taysom Hill. He had him doing everything from playing fullback, wide receiver. He had 8 catches as a wide receiver to go along with the 7 carries he had. He was back there kick returning for him. He played, tight end for him, played wide receiver, quarterback for him. He was 1 of 2. For 18 yards, throwing the ball with a pick. So Taysom Hill was involved in damn near every aspect of the Saints offense. Yeah. And he did have those 2 turnovers, but in the end, he scored. He kind of made it right.
Oh, yeah.
He had 3 touchdowns from Taysom Hill in the running attack today. So he contributed everywhere where you could possibly need him at.
Yes. And that's why I couldn't understand why they didn't use him more last week when they played the Falcons.
That's the point.
They let him do a little something in the first half, then they shut him down in the second. I thought he was injured or something, but now we're seeing what this man could do. He's not hurt. He's impossible. He's almost a one-man team. They can't stop him. Well, position they put him in, they couldn't stop him. He just bulls over people, runs over people. You can see that he's missed. Yeah. Now, what's the status on McCoy? Did you hear anything on him, sir?
Yeah, well, they were saying he had a groin issue, Pops, that Nick Underhill reported on that he was dealing with. So we'll see, because that's the last notification I got from a couple of reporters was saying that he has a groin injury and he was not coming back. So him being here, of course, the Saints taking him out of the game, but there's a bye week behind here, so we'll have an opportunity for him to rest and rehab, get ready for the Rams. So if hopefully it ain't nothing too bad, we'll hear from Coach Rizzi. I'm pretty sure Coach Rizzi will kind of give us some kind of game involved about what's going on in terms of McCoy, because he just made it back from the injury with Philly, and then he has this groin issue setback. So, and credit to the Saints offensive line. They actually did a pretty feasible job of keeping Derek Carr upright. In the third quarter, they couldn't get any running going on, but then they just switched. They just went to Taysom Hill. In the fourth quarter, like, man, listen, we as a collective, we struggling offensive. Let's just go to Taysom. And Taysom Hill said, yes, cool, appreciate it. Now watch this. So yeah, so that's what we seeing right here, man. So it's very positive, to be honest with you, man. But hey, OG, I'm gonna work on that Coach Rizzy thing. Rizzy's raspy, brother. So that's a big part of the game, man. I feel, but yeah, he'll pop up to the podium in a few minutes, and we'll probably hear from him, Derek Carr, Elvin Kamara. You'll hear from all those guys, man, in a win like this, because it's a big win. Pops, we get 2 straight. Darren Rizzi, what you think about that, man? Rizzi, after 7 straight games of the Saints losing under the Possum, they get 2 under Rizzi. What do you think about Rizzi's 2-game win streak?
Well, I think it's great news. The team seems to rally behind him, and they play for him. And like with Allen, they were just going through the motions for the most part, but behind this guy, they seem to be rallying and feed into what he's wanting them to do, feed into their system, into his system. And he probably got them flushing out what Dennis Allen taught him and play what he's playing, play his offensive plays. And he's executing, they execute with more fire. The offensive line and defensive lines are firing off the ball. I mean, they had Jameis had some pretty good protection on his offensive line, but you know how Jameis is. Jameis gonna throw that ball. He almost gifted us one, but he was overthrowing receivers that were throwing in the tight coverage. They had a couple of plays where he threw the ball in the tight coverage. He got man 1-on-1 or 2 guys covering. He's trying to force the ball in. Well, fortunately, it didn't get a couple he threw didn't get picked off. But Jameis has an arm. I promise you that. He's got an arm. And he's using this kid, Judy. I'll tell you what, that kid was good at Alabama, too. When he played for Alabama under Nick Saban, I think.
Yeah, Judy was good. Him and Peyton didn't get along in Denver. That Peyton sent him to the Browns. Right. But yeah, he had a very positive game for the Saints. So that's like every time like I was saying, the Saints wasn't getting home against Jameis, until later on in the game. Then they started impacting him. They started to sack him. They started to grab him and pull him down. They started to knock him around later on in the game. And it was just the will of the Saints defensive line, whether it was Cam, a Curl, a Chase, Brian Brzee with his sack and a half, and the rest of these guys just winning the one-on-one matchups without any help, because all of the help needed to be dropped into coverage to help protect for whatever Jameis was trying to do. And then they were able to get to him later on in the game. So credit them for that. So this is a part of the game where our defensive line has to get home. Jameis built up a rhythm, man, and threw for a lot of yards in this game, but it wasn't a losing affair because it was a one-dimensional outing. They had to over-rely on him. The Saints did do a positive by stopping the running attack, Pops. A lot of that happened. Nick Chubb didn't do much. And how about the big factor is the Saints completely – what are your thought process on the Saints neutralizing Myles Garrett? He didn't have anything today. What are your thoughts on their one of the best, if not the best, pass rusher and disruptive force in the NFL? Wasn't nothing going on for that guy today. What do you think about that?
To me, that was absolutely astounding that they would hold him like that. Shut him down basically. And I don't know who was in front of him, but he didn't really get very close to Carr, and Carr basically had to run. He could run around. He scrambled a little bit, and he was shut down. He was shut out. He didn't really get to our guy. He didn't get to Carr. So the defensive line did a hell of a job in that regard, keeping this man under control, because the man got skins on the wall. So, but they kept him out. They kept Carr protected, and that's the result. Once he was able to get the ball downfield, do some things, and Taysom came in, and Taysom was the X factor today. He was the X factor. I mean, when Carr couldn't pass, they put Taysom in the game, and Taysom confused these defensive players because they didn't know where he line up, what he gonna do with him, and what we can do, and they end up doing it. They end up, causing the big runs he had, the touchdowns he scored. I mean, one he just took off and went straight down the left sideline. Nobody hardly touched him until he got to the end zone. two thumbs up for Taysom's performance because he really carried the Saints offense on his back, basically in that second half.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, Pops. Taysom Hill was awesome, man. Miles Garrett. Some of the family members saying Miles was hurt. What was he hurt from, bro? I didn't see Miles on the injury list. What did he have? I mean, you know, what kind of injury did he have?
I didn't look. I didn't really notice, if he was limping or if he had any issues. I know one of the offensive linemen was carted off.
Yeah, that was DeJuan Jones, the big left tackle.
Yes, and he was carted off the field. You know,
right? Yeah.
So his season probably done and all, or maybe won't be back for a few games. I don't know exactly. Find out what was wrong with him, but. After he got out of there, and really the Saints start moving they start moving the ball a little bit better. You know, they just played very well. I'm proud of them, and hopefully this rest that they're gonna have a week off, they can be when they come back, they'll be live. And I'll tell you what, I believe that Coach Rizzy gonna have them boys ready for the Rams. I think the Rams coming here, right? Are they gonna be
That's right. Here? That's right. They got.
Oh man, now, they got a good offense. You know, so we're gonna have some fun with watching that one.
Yeah, that's the final of the home games. They had the Falcons, the Browns, and then the bye week, and then after the bye week, you have one at home with the Rams, and then you hit the road for the Giants.
Right.
So if the Saints play this just right, it'll be a competitive game because the Rams won today.
Yeah.
Saints get a bye week. If they can play this just right, if they on a span ahead too far because they're 4-7 now. A win against the Rams 5, a win against the Giants is 6, and then the 7th week they'll take on Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Here's Coach Rizzy, man. Let's see what he had to say. Coach Rizzy.
We've had some leads that we've given up, and so really when and even last week at times offensively we weren't great, but I thought one of the best things we did today, all three phases. Hung in there, finished the game, fourth quarter. We talked about three things this week, just keeping the focus on the preparation, talked about winning the line of scrimmage, and we talked about finish. And those are the themes as a team this week. And I thought we did all three of those things. And so I thought that was a check mark for all three things. It started to get, when they tied the game, the momentum started to swing a little bit again, much like last week. And I thought, what a great job by us, by the team, all three phases in the fourth quarter. We had big plays from every phase. And so I just thought that was an outstanding job. Again, the crowd was awesome. To hear the momentum there, we needed them a little bit at the end. We got loud. All of a sudden they're in a 2-minute drive. That was great. Kudos to Taysom for responding. No surprise, that's Taysom, but great response from him. I know he was pissed off at halftime because we had a couple of turnovers, the interception and the fumble. But, he might be the poster child for the resiliency. Look at him come back, bounce back, make some huge plays. We decided to go for it there on 4th and short. He has a touchdown run. Then we're in a 4-minute drill, and he busts out another long one. So I'm certainly happy as heck that we have that guy on our team. You look at the offensive line. We rushed for 200-plus yards. Our plan was to kind of neutralize Myles Garrett for the game, and I thought we did some of that. So, but again, the big punt return, just plays by everybody. And so, I again, just super, super proud. As I just said to the team, there's a process every week on how to win the game, and I thought we did a great job there. There was a couple times where we had some self-inflicted wounds for sure, with the explosive plays for them and the turnovers for us, but kudos to that whole locker room for being able to overcome that. So,
was there some sort of an intentional plan? You looked at a lot of different things and said we should be doing this, we should do it. Was there any sort of intentional Taysom Hill should be more involved in the offense, or this?
Yes. In particular? Yeah. I think when you look at least at the time I've been here for most of the time Taysom's been, and listen, when he touches the ball, he's on the field, it affects the game tremendously, and he doesn't even sometimes have to get the ball. Him being on the field and him, kind of like I thought Clint did a phenomenal job in the way we used them today. He ran it, he threw it, he caught it. And so when you're defending that and you're not sure where he's going to line up and all that, it neutralizes the defense a little bit. You maybe get some more, vanilla looks than if he's not on the field. And so, I think he had 8 catches and 7 carries and 2 pass attempts, and Red Grange. So, it's but good for him and good for us and good for Clint and good for the offensive staff. But no doubt, you want to get the balls to your playmakers and certainly we want to be one dimensional. Alvin's done such a great job the entire season, to keep teams off balance, and it's not all one guy is a big deal.
You guys had something that came up with, like in your assessment conversations, or like?
Yeah, I mean, listen, right? We looked at some other games this year when Taysom was active, and it wasn't just me. I think collectively felt like, we got to get this guy the ball more and get him more involved.
Is that is this maybe what y'all kind of envisioned going into the season? His role could look like in Clint's offense, maybe just like injuries.
Yeah. I think that's a fair statement because you look at the first couple of games, he was very, very involved. He obviously then was dealing with an injury, coming back off of that, and I think he's gotten a little bit more and more involved every week. But if you look at our wins so far this season, I'm going to tell you that Taysom's numbers are pretty good, and so that's been a theme around here for a long time. And like I said, Alvin's been kind of carrying the load there, and just again, Alvin had some really tough, really good yards today. And then be able to keep them off, the defense is off balance with those two guys is a big thing.
Darren, you're kidding about Red Grange, but I mean, can you put into perspective just how rare it is for a player to do what he's been doing in his career?
Yeah. I mean, listen, 30-something years of coaching, and it's hard to compare him to somebody that I've coached or coached against or watched. Listen, the guy had a 42-yard kickoff return. He threw 2 passes today, and one of them he wants to have back. He had 10 targets, and he's got 7 rushes, and he's got a 4th down run for a touchdown. It's like, what can't this guy do? He's our personal protector on our punt team. And so there's just so many jobs, and he's so valuable. So it's hard to, I say Red Grange because I don't even know who else to say because, can you guys think of anybody? I can't. And so, like I said, I'm glad he's on our team. Chuck Bigneri. I mean, who the guys in the locker room don't even know that. They don't know who Red Grange is either, though. So.
But what do you? I mean, also, isn't it in your experience, for a 34-year-old, uncommon to be breaking kick returns and runs 75 yards and stuff like that?
Yeah, he's kind of an ageless guy. I mean, he keeps himself in phenomenal physical shape. The way he takes care of his body, what he puts in his body, all those things, how he prepares himself off the field in the off season, all those things. So, I mean, he certainly doesn't look 34. He looked more like a 24-year-old today. That's for sure. And like I said, I'm glad. Now we got to be smart with the usage and, the play counts and all that stuff. And we can't just sweep it under the rug, his age, but man, I think the reason he has success is because of what he does for the whole calendar year. His preparation, his nutrition, all those things. And so the off the field stuff is really impressive with him.
Obviously, there's like the earned confidence you guys have in them, but to stick with them and keep riding after the turnover.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. Man, at halftime I said to him, you're going to continue to get the ball, so we got to get over it. Let's move on. And listen, any good player get that many touches, you're going to have some negative plays. But he was taking it personal. And I just told him on the way out at halftime, like, you're going to keep getting the ball, so we're going to need you here. And fortunately for us, he made some big ones.
I feel like Clint was in our rhythm as a play call today, especially early on.
Yeah, I thought it's the second week in a row. I thought we had a really good start. And that's been a theme in the games that we've played well in, is kind of getting that ball rolling early on. We got a little stagnant there again in maybe the third quarter, but then we're really good finish. That was the difference between this week and last week. I thought the offense finished. I thought we had a really good start, maybe a little stale in the middle, but I thought Clint called a great game. And look at the numbers. Derek's 21 of 27 again, very efficient, made some good decisions, spread the ball around. And for the second week in a row, his QB rating, his QBR is super high, and just played a really efficient game. But that goes back to the play calling. So I thought Clint did a phenomenal job of spreading the ball around. Foster, a couple of huge catches. Jawan, a couple of huge catches. And so obviously Scanling, another big play. And so that's just a great job of understanding the weapons we have, distributing the ball. So great job by Clint.
How would you describe what sort of the overall mood of this locker room is, right? I mean, it was pretty down 2 weeks ago. How would you describe where you guys are right now?
I think that we're starting to get some confidence back. You know what I mean? I thought we had a lot of confidence in the beginning of the year. We obviously had a little bit of a lull, team wise. And I think there's some, you got a little less swag back, if you will. And so, that makes me so happy just seeing our guys celebrate and the culmination of the work week. And now I think that, we talked about that formula for winning. And so I think that, I talked about the buy-in and it's a credit to everybody in the locker room. Those guys, that's what they've done. And so, listen, I love to see the excitement. We're going to have some little downtime now. The guys need it. We went, 11 in a row here is not easy. So, these late bye weeks. So kind of get to press the reset button again and kind of see if we can, make a push here at the end, one game at a time.
I'm sorry, how gratifying has this been for you? I mean, and you do get a chance to reset right now. But this whirlwind beginning a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
good, right?
yeah. It's been a crazy 2 weeks. I to say sit here I'd lie to you if I was saying I've had to sit down and really think about the whole thing. Maybe I'll do that this week, but we still have a lot of things we got to get done in the office and whatnot. So, but yeah, listen, it's gratifying to me to win. So at the end of the day, to watch these guys prepare these last 2 weeks and go out there, that's the gratifying part for sure. Just the smiles on the faces in the locker room, that's the gratifying part. Yeah, we're just talking about down in the way, and I need to get the exact information on that. I'm not 100% sure what that is, so I got to figure that out.
It looked like he tried to go back, and maybe he wasn't.
Yeah, he was dealing with something, and I think he tried to gut through. Could he have maybe gone back in? Probably, but I think we tried to make the smart decision with him there. I really don't know. I'm not 100% sure if it's the exact same thing. I don't know.
And then Pete Warner, your decision to have him up today.
Yeah.
Despite the cast on the
Yeah. So, I told you guys all week, Pete, every day there was a little bit more confidence that he could do it. It was really up till like last night where it's like, hey, we're going to pull the trigger here. He had some casting options. Weren't 100% sure if he's going to be able to do it, but he prepared all week. He didn't get a ton of reps, but he prepared all week. Pete's a very, very intelligent guy. And so that I wasn't worried about the mental. I was more worried about can he finish, be effective. And so, what a credit to him. I mean, he's out there with that club and still flying around making plays. So.
What about the defense?
Yeah.
Taking away their running game.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, I think that, if I'm not mistaken, it was 64 yards rushing. And we made an emphasis all week about the line of scrimmage. But more importantly, our tackling. Our tackling on the year is something that's been really, really, inconsistent. And so I saw today, some really good examples of tackling in the run game. They ripped off a couple runs here or there, but I thought we really did a great job controlling the line. But more importantly, when the back gets to the second level, linebackers, DBs, we did a much better job today in tackling. So again, that was an emphasis. They've done a good job. Their offensive line, tight ends, running backs have been good for them, and we tried to make it turn into a passing game, which we did in the second half, and that was certainly effective. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. He got dinged up early too, and credit to him, he came back in the game, but he made some huge catches, and then the one got taken away from him, for the holding call, which was a really great passing catch. But no, some huge plays. The one he's falling down. I remember saying in the headset to the coaches, that's an unbelievable catch. He's kind of off balance, kind of sees the ball late, but he made some critical catches. But that whole tight end room really stepped up.
How was it? Can you go to just kind of a two-part here, the return game on y'all's side with the guys filling in and haven't really been in those roles yet this year, and then the opposite side, like field position, you guys kind of
Sure. Well, first of all, Dante Pettis, great job by him. I think in 11 games we've had 4 or 5 different guys back there catching punts, and I think like 7 or 8 different guys doing kick returns. And so we made a decision late in the week to go with Dante because we needed a roster spot. I thought Jermaine did a very admirable job when he's been in there, give or take. But Dante's a guy that really was a really good returner in college. And we knew if we can get him out, into space, we can make something happen. It's a shame. I saw right in front of me, stepped out by about an inch, it looked like, and thought it might come back. So I wasn't really celebrating too much because I knew they were going to see it. But what a great job. Give us great field position, go down, score again. Like I said, all 3 phases. And then the kickoff side of things, I thought Blake had some really good kickoffs. Coverage was outstanding. We made them field that one line drive ball that kind of bounced around. I think they started on the 15. Coverage is really good. So we want to continue to take advantage of that. So to have a 42-yard kick return, and I don't even know how many yards the punt return was, the long punt return, but to have those are huge plays in the game. Momentum swings, and so that was really, really good. Jameis? Yeah. Well, first of all, I didn't really get a chance to talk to him until after the game, but it's always great to see Jameis. Puts a smile on my face, puts a smile on everybody's face. So from a personal level, great to see him. Listen, right away, would they have an 89-yard touchdown there in the beginning? And so, that was the concern coming in, is Jameis is going to and then all of a sudden he's going to take those shots down the field. I thought we did a really good job of defending a couple of those in the second half. And so, so you're always worried, even when we went up 14, it's kind of like we just can't have an explosive here. No big ones, and all of a sudden they're back in the game. And I thought we did a good job of taking those second half ones away. Pardon me, my nose decided to run on me here.
Marquez had another one of those big touchdowns
Yeah.
he had last year, but maybe so that we won't talk about as much as Juwan Johnson blocking downfield on that. Can you tell us a little bit from your perspective, like what a moment like that means and kind of the ripple effects?
Well, it's another bounce back moment. We talked about Taysom, but Juwan had the holding penalty on the long, throw to Foster. And here again, that guy, he didn't sulk. He just got back and came back and made a huge play. As that play's going on, I'm not even watching, Scantling run with the ball. I'm watching everybody else. And I'm looking at Juwan back there just, out in front, working his ass off to get us into the end zone. That's what the finish part is all about. So when you see examples like that, I think it's awesome. Those are the selfless acts that maybe not everybody understands or sees, but that's just phenomenal. It's just team football. It's a selfless, it's a 111 thing that we always talk about. So awesome. Really cool.
You figured out some secrets of making opposing kickers miss.
No, but that's, again, those are big plays. I think that our rush team has done a phenomenal job. And, kudos to Phil Galliano and move, Marwan for plan. They kind of put that plan together every week and present it. Great job by those guys. We're giving phenomenal effort on that. And that shows on film, and that's in the kicker's mind. And so, the rushes from last week, we blocked one. We should have maybe blocked another. It whizzed by Ridgway's hand. And so that's on film. And so kickers also in the operation, they try to speed up a little bit, get the ball out a little quicker. It's kind of it's a big deal. And so, when you put that effort on film and you put that thought into the opponent's mind, so great job by everybody in that unit and the coaching part of it. Great job.
Did your day start better today?
Well, I'm a routine guy, so I'll leave it at that. And I'm not. Doug's gonna get nervous now. So
Can I ask before we haven't even asked about Derek yet. So
Yeah.
I just how important has he been kind of stabilizing this for you and kind of getting this team back on track?
I think the fact that you haven't asked about Derek yet is really all you need to say. He played a phenomenal game across the board, extremely efficient, like I mentioned before. That's 2 weeks in a row where his efficiency, at that position that we all know, the turnovers are a big deal. I know he didn't throw the one interception today. I think he was 21 and 27. I think, like I said, the second week in a row, his QBR is way, way high. I think we had one sack today. So 2 weeks, 1 sack. Just again, spreading the ball out. And listen, there's a bunch of guys playing out there that haven't really been playing with him the entire year. Scantling, Kevin Austin, Dante Pettis. I mean, there's guys out there. So the timing and the rhythm, and Derek does a great job in practice every week of when the defense is up and they're doing their stuff. He's got these receivers off on the side. He's not just sitting around and he's making sure the timing and all that is on point. So just another really, really great job by him. I was really, really pleased with him 2 weeks in a row. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Taysom Hill.
Why did you block me?
I don't know. They did a good job. Didn't have. Do I know who Red Grange is? I don't. Riz did. Was that a compliment? I'm just playing.
You do have those stats all the time, though, and actually, Captain just tweeted one from ESPN stats today that was like the first since Ed Podolak in 1971. What is the kind of the wildest name you've ever seen in one of those stats that you're the first since?
I don't know. I mean, that's one of those things. To be honest, I don't really pay a ton of attention to those things. But listen, I know that the guys that played this game before us did a lot for us that are now playing this. So to be talked about with those guys, is means a lot to me. And I love this game, but the reality is the guys that came before us, laid a foundation for us to be playing in stadiums like this on national television and stuff. So I don't want that to come across the wrong way, but because it does mean a lot to me.
And did you think it was possible that you could set career highs in rushing yards and receptions still?
Look, I've always believed in myself, and it was one of those games where, Clint and the way the coverage was working out, just created opportunities for me. And, I know Riz talked about it, but I thought Derek played a really efficient game, and the ball was going where it needed to go, and it was coming out on time. And we're really hard to defend when we're doing that. And man, he made a lot of really pivotal plays, third down, third and long, and he's making plays to move the chains, and that's a big deal.
Derek was joking during the week that he bet you a dinner about the opening touchdown in the last game. So are you gonna? Did you win the bet this week?
No, I didn't win a bet. He kind of always has a standing thing, like if you take a screen for a touchdown or something, he'll give you something, give you dinner, whatever. But mine got called back, so I couldn't accept it. So yeah. That's usually what he does. It's usually what he does. But I haven't been able to collect on one of those yet. Maybe in a couple weeks.
How frustrated were you after the phone?
Yeah, look, I'm disappointed, and I was really disappointed at halftime, and no one is going to be harder about all these things than I am. I certainly expect more of myself in those situations, but look, they made a couple good plays, and so got a lot of great teammates, a lot of great friends in there that I had conversations with, and look, I played this game long enough. I know that those guys on the other side get paid too, and look, it's one of those things where I had to take a step back and say there's nothing that I can do about it now, right? So let's go do what I can to help us win this game, and fortunately, I continue to get some opportunities.
Darren said at halftime that he told you he was gonna keep feeding you the ball. I'm guessing that kind of meant something to you when you weren't feeling great, right?
Yeah. Look, I had a number of conversations. Look, I think you play in this league long enough, you're gonna have moments like that. So certainly, I've had plays that didn't go my way prior to this game too. But look, I had conversations with Clint, Riz, everyone, and it's always the same message. And look, it's the same message that I echo to teammates too when something doesn't go our way. So look, I'm aware of all that and grateful that they obviously continue to give me opportunities.
They obviously did a number of creative things with you, but they also had the 4th and 1, and then that last drive toward the end where it looked like you were just going to play quarterback for all 4 plays. If needed, it only ended up being 2. But how much do you like that? I mean, we're not hiding what we're doing. And
yeah.
It's power versus power, I guess, and that's a specialty of yours.
Yeah, look, I think we gained some numbers that way, and that's obviously never been a secret, and we've done these things in the past, and it's been successful. So certainly in a 4-minute situation, it's one of those things that's been advantageous for us. And Clint called a great game, and he created a lot of unique opportunities for me to make plays. And I think as you start to look at what we're doing offensively, the more things we do that way, the harder it is for us to be defended. And so I think when you're running the ball well and your head, creates more opportunities that way. But hopefully something that we can continue to build on.
The second touchdown, 4th down, he takes that play.
Let's see. Yeah. Look, it was one of those. Obviously, it was 4th and short. Was it 4th and short, or was it 3rd down? Was it 4th and short? Wow. They came out of center field. I knew it was an aggressive run, stop, look, and I've seen this before, right? But when they set out to stop the run, there's no one back there. So if you get past that first level of defense, you're kind of home free. So, man, they did a great job. It was one of these plays where we had a number of double teams up front, and those guys created a big hole, big lane for me, and got me out in space. And the rest is what it was.
You've been busy a long time.
Yeah.
What is it about him that players seem to respond to so well?
I think Riz has done a really nice job of communicating with a lot of guys in the locker room, so we've had a lot of meetings with him. We've had private meetings, whatever. And, I think he has a really good pulse on what we need collectively as a team, to get ready for a football game, and I think guys have responded to that and, really respected and, his ability to come in and have conversation, but then take feedback and make some changes. And, as I mentioned, guys have responded really positively.
Jason, just in terms of like usage, the amount of time touching the ball on the field, is this kind of what you were anticipating coming into the season? Type of game, not the numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of what I'd hoped for, and so as you look at training camp, the first half of the season was I was really disappointed the way it went just because of my injuries, and so I think it's trying to find this balance of, what is that going to look like now, and are you being exposed too much to injury and stuff, and we all know this too, right? It's every game's a little bit different, so I felt like there were opportunities to continue to do things like this. Someone showed me some stat sheets. It's kind of one of those things that you don't expect to have a career high on a number of things in one game, but I certainly felt like there was opportunities to have touches like this.
How frustrating was that if that was the expectation going into the year, just knowing that you have to find this balance with the injuries?
Yeah, I mean, now it's a hard thing when you want to be out there with your team, and you go through OTAs, you go through training camp, and man, we had a tough training camp, and you're out there grinding with all your buddies, and then you get to the season and we're all excited and you have to stay on the sideline. That's a hard thing to balance, mentally, emotionally, and so forth. So I understand trying to find a balance of making sure that you're available and all of that, but we also need to make sure we're doing everything we can to win football games. And so I don't know what that's going to continue to look like, but I'm certainly enjoying the more opportunities I get.
What did you think of Derek's jet motion?
Yeah, it was great. I mentioned that. Look, that was one of the things I talked about to the team. When you start to when you rush the ball for as many yards as we did, these things are just a collective effort, right? You can't do this by yourself. And, Derek is one of those guys that has always been incredibly supportive, and the dude just wants to win, so whatever it takes. And, we've had some giggles about some of his jet sweep motions and, hey, I'm always available, and stuff like that. So he's been great.
Coach Rizzi said it feels like the team's getting its swag back. I mean, can you feel that?
For sure.
Where's the team at right now?
Yeah. Look, I think it's like as you watched that game, I think you saw a team that just continued to get more and more confident, and that was something, it's no secret. We've struggled finishing games, and I felt as I think back, throughout the course of that game, we just start playing with more and more confidence, and the expectations we continue to build on that.
Jason, I don't want to do message or whatever, but heard it the last couple of weeks, the importance placed on finishing.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks in a row, you guys found a way to finish and close out games. Is there anything to message in that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I certainly don't think anything's going to change if you don't talk about it, and that's something that we've struggled with this year. So at some point you have to look in the mirror and say, hey, we need to be better. And what do we need to be better at? Because at the end of the day, yeah, it matters what you do in the first half, but we've been around this league long enough that knows that these games are won and lost in the second half, third and fourth quarter, and we need to do a better job. And I felt like as we got into that game, we just knew that, man, we were going to do what was necessary to win that one.
Jason, we talked about the previous players in time sort of paving the way for what you guys are doing now. How important is it, or how does it feel knowing that now at this moment you're doing that for future players?
Yeah, I think that's important. I'm a father of two little boys, and I look at what's the growth of our league through my last 8 years here, and that means a lot to me as well, to be able to continue to add to something that, certainly a lot bigger than myself, and football has been my life, as I look back to my time in, little league and now college, and, now I get to play football and take care of my family while I do this, so this stuff, it's been my life. And so to be able to add to that means a lot to me.
How much longer do you think you can keep doing it?
I don't know. One game at a time, we'll see. All good. Thanks, guys.
First of all, I almost had 2 picks. Almost is the key word. Following last week, almost had a pick. So Amazon, I'm going to be looking tonight, or have my wife look tonight on Amazon, Prime delivery. I got to get some hands. At this point, we shop so much on Amazon, so we might have some day delivery that we can get for free. But anywhere online, I know Amazon is going to have them. I need the best hands I can find. At this point, I am shopping for some hands. So Amazon, just know we'll be looking tonight. Amazon delivery in the box. Don't care how they come. If they gift wrapped or not, box them up nice for me. Just a pair of hands so I can have them for after the bye week.
They've been really clear about how the defensive scheme hasn't changed, like in terms of an overhaul, but that Joe Woods has kind of put his stamp on some things and made some changes.
Yeah.
How have you seen those changes reflect?
Joe Woods is an unbelievable defensive coordinator. Man, he does really good calling the plays, and I think keeping the quarterback in a scramble, an offensive coordinator in a scramble. And he does a good job of putting the game in his players' hands, and we're able to play free. He comes in with the game plan. He makes sure we feel good about it, and we're able to come into the game with a lot of confidence. And, when he's over there calling the plays, we just trust him, and we go out and execute. And it allows us to play with our hair on fire. Guys have really been playing good football the past couple of weeks, so it's good. And down the stretch, we got to do that.
And I know you're friends with Darren. He's sitting there, so I love his head on that. But what can you say about his how he can play?
Oh man, my boy had a field day out there today. He's a true point guard. If you really watch him, he get his Rajon Rondo on quite a bit, finding players. And I was telling him in the locker room, some of my favorite plays is to watch him when he rolls out the pocket. He got about 8-yard run today. That was special. He bowled up in the room, so I'm gonna give him some extra love. But I think the poise that he plays with when he rolls out of the pocket, when he's on, he's one of the best doing it. He dropped a couple dimes that were down the field. That 4th and 1 was special and got called back. But I think that's my favorite plays is when he rolls out of the pocket and to see how he can wheel and deal on the fly. I usually have guys at 3 levels, and I feel like he manipulates the defense in his favor. He did the same thing on kind of a little screen I was telling him about. It wasn't a major play, but it was pretty cool because he found a way to find a crease between 2 linemen. I mean, you got to think quarterbacks, they really have to have some I'm not going to have the word to say, of steel, because you got Myles Garrett running at you full speed, and you have to be able to find a guy, keep your eyes down the field with somebody who has plenty of highlights in the league of tearing people's heads off, and he's running at you full speed. And to be able to keep your eyes downfield and keep your poise, I just think, like, man, you got to give a lot of respect to those guys. And I like to see him when he is in mode like that. So glad he's on our side.
Brian, how would you describe the sort of overall mood or the vibe of this locker room? I know it got low, obviously, a couple of weeks ago. How would you describe where you guys are right now?
We're winning. Winning feels good. So we want to keep that feeling going. Winning changes everything, and that's what this game is about.
Brian, you just talked about Pete, obviously, dealing with the hand injury.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
What is that? Is that motivating for everyone else to watch him? Do that?
That's some Walker, Texas Ranger toughness right there. man, he broke his hand last game, had a major surgery. I think he has a steel plate in his hand, and he wraps it up with a club and he tests it out in practice. And he's like, man, when I hit somebody, it still feels like I'm punching a brick wall. He's like, but I'm gonna tough it out. And he got my respect. He already had my respect, just I already knew he was a tough player, but man, like your hands and feet, those are some very sensitive areas. I know people look at football and be like, man, those are tough guys. But man, if you step on your toe or you stub your toe, it still hurt. If you break a finger or something, it hurts. And for him to be out there toughing it out like that for the team and made some really big plays, it just speaks of his toughness and his commitment to the game.
Mario, a few weeks ago, I don't know when it was exactly, but the Tyrant said he felt like maybe the team lacked confidence in adverse situations. In these last 2 weeks, it looks like you guys are kind of handling that in the flow. Do you feel like there's a change in the response maybe when things go wrong, like just maybe like the belief in how to overcome it?
I think it was just emphasis on finish. It started with Coach Rizzi. He just talked about like that we weren't finishing well, and that was something that we had to change. And then Joe Woods came in and emphasized it, and he talked about, I think, like 8 or 9 of our losses. We either were tied or had to lead in the fourth quarter. And he really challenged us on defense that we had to finish better. And I think that's what we've been putting on display the past couple of weeks. It was an interesting stat that it was 21-0 in the fourth quarter today. That's the type of football that we have to play, and I think it makes the difference.
Did you specifically talk to the defense before? I think it was before last week's game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're winning going into the fourth. It's our game.
Mm-hmm. What about it?
Have you seen the team respond to that?
Man, I just think our guys are responding to the challenge. Coaches have emphasized some specific challenges for us the past couple of weeks, and the guys have been responding. And we've always known that we had the guys in the locker room, and for whatever reason, they're putting the goals before us, and we're completing all of them. So I think the emphasis is in the right spot, and we're having success. Success breeds confidence. Confidence breeds success.
What was it playing against seeing Jameis again and playing against him in a game where he looked pretty invigorated about the opportunity?
That's my brother, man. I love him. I love that man to death. He is a very unique guy, and he's a memorable teammate. He gives everything that he has, and he has the spirit about him that's contagious. And I think watching him grow, specifically in his relationship with the Lord, his relationship with his family, and just being a leader all around, seeing him use his platform properly, I think has been amazing to see. In this game, you're going to have highs and lows, but it's all about how you choose to show up every day. And I think he is one guy that if you want to talk about how you show up every single day, he is as great as they come in that regard. The things that he's had to endure, the waves and the high highs that he's had and the low lows that he's had, but he continues to show up with that spirit. I think that's an example to the world. If I could show up with his spirit every day, I'd be a better human being. And I'm proud to call him my brother. I would praise and honor him on any stage. Hey, thank y'all. God bless.
Obviously, got to start with that.
Absolutely. I thought after that run, I was definitely going to beat Taysom in the rushing title again today, and I did not. Obviously, that was my last one. So, yeah, that was it was actually a play we've had before, but this game had presented good looks, and the coaches, they liked it, and that was going to be our first short yardage call. And I've been trying to tell them, I was like, I don't mind doing it, And so finally they let me do it, and we got a first down, and so that was huge for us for sure. Yeah. Well, they put the over under at 6 yards, and so I didn't know where I was. I just knew I needed more, and so yeah.
Rizzy mentioned that you guys went into this with a plan for Myles Garrett, and you felt really happy with how that played.
Yeah.
From your perspective,
I think it went really well. We made sure we had a plan for him because he is one of the most dominant players I've ever played in my 11 years in the NFL. He is insane how good he is. And so some of the plays he can make, the strength with the speed, with the effort. There's a play you watch him against Washington. He runs down a run play like 50, 60 yards down the field. He's outrunning DBs. He's unbelievable. And so thankfully he didn't decapitate me on the one I was throwing to Foster because he found a way in. But I thought our offensive line did an outstanding job. Tight ends, running backs, whoever, receivers. We had just different kind of looks, different kind of things that you don't always use in every game. But with a guy like that, you have to use. And I put him up there with the guys I've played like Von Miller, Aaron Donald, TJ Watt. I mean, these guys, they're just that dominant, And so, again, like I always do, I'll stop naming people so someone down the road doesn't get mad. But they just have a way to, impact games. I mean, you watch the film and you see him getting chipped, about to get chipped, and he's hitting the chipper, 3 yards in the air. They're both feet are off the ground, and then he's run through the tackle. Like, not everybody can do that kind of stuff.
How do you feel about, Tally, I say drawing that matchup a lot as a rookie and everything? How do you feel about his performance?
Yeah, I mean, what a great challenge for him, right? Because we did leave him out there a couple times. You can't always chip and do certain things 100% of the time. There's certain concepts and routes you just live with, and you got to do it. And I thought he did a fantastic job. And what an experience for him to go against one of the more dominant players our league has ever seen, and to just grow in confidence, and continue to get better. And, he'll see things he'd want better or want, all those things. But, for him to, get a taste of, playing against Miles, what that's like, and for him to handle himself really well. The thing I look for is the body language, the eyes, before we go out there in the huddle, on a third down, I'm looking at, and he very confident young man. And so his confidence gives me confidence, because I've been in huddles with guys where they're like, I don't know about this play, and it's not a good feeling as a quarterback. So his confidence is definitely years beyond how old he actually is.
What do you think about the Rondo comparison? Where are you at?
I love Rondo, really love Rondo, but I'm a Laker fan, so that one's tough for me. For me, I think any kind of praise from a player like that is very honoring, and I'm humbled by it because, for him to say that, he doesn't just, say words. You guys know DeMario, what he says is what he means. And so I'm honored that he would, compare me to someone like that. But, we talk about all the time. I just, whenever, you're in a certain system and you got players around you, it allows you to manipulate coverages. It allows you to look this way, pump, and then come back because, I can get a complete, I got to move this guy one step. There's one today, I knew I was going to throw a certain ball. I got to move that guy one step. And if I don't have time to do that, I just can't play the position how I want to play it. But I'm allowed to do that because of how well our offensive line is playing, how well our guys are on their details about just little things like the landmarks of the routes. Like, you have to catch this ball outside the hash right here. You got to be ready right here. When I hit this third step, all that stuff matters. And just really impressed by everyone else around me because it gives me such joy every time going out there because I know I can play free. I know that I can just be free to be me, manipulate guys, I know Clinton, Janoke won't like it, but sometimes take an extra hitch to, move somebody to throw a certain ball and all that kind of stuff. But, if you don't have time to do those things and guys aren't in the details, it won't matter and it won't work. So I've just been thankful for the guys around me. They're playing so well and it allows me just to be free. I gotta be honest, like the last, I don't know how to say it, like the end of last year and the beginning of this year is absolutely, I feel great. I feel like it's been my best football, that I've played in my career. And so I feel confident in that. I feel confident in who I'm playing with. I feel confident in the building that I'm in. And they continue to just breathe confidence into me. And that goes a long way for players. And so, I feel like in my 11 years, the last, I don't know how many games, but it's been my best.
I know we talked about Taysom before many times, but how rare is it
do what he did today for a player like that?
It's unbelievable what he does, what we ask him to do. He's fullback, lead blocking on inside zones, ISOs, and then he's playing fullback on a stretch run. Then he's playing tight end. Then he's at receiver. Then he's playing quarterback. Then he's throwing a ball 50 yards down the field. Then he's running with it, from quarterback. It's like then I'm turning around and I'm in a no huddle situation, checking plays to hand him the ball at running back. It's like good luck finding someone that can do all those things, And I knew what kind of weapon he was, when I made a decision to come here, and I was just so excited to play with him. And it makes it even cooler now playing with him. Just because he's such a great friend and he's such a great person. So now it's just like, there's nothing wrong with this guy, like this guy is awesome. And so, except sometimes I can beat him at golf. So that's one thing, but, I can't outdrive him though. Yeah.
He might be almost underappreciated to some degree, that just the versatility.
I think there's a case to be made for that for sure, because he is dominant in everything that he does, and like it's like a point guard switching off onto a center and he can guard him in the low block. It's like, center switching on a point guard and he's not worried about getting hit on a three or getting run by. Like it's really unbelievable the different spots he can go and play at that level. And so absolutely, I think he deserves, I think he gets a lot of credit. I think he deserves a lot more, for what he's able to do, because what people don't understand is too, mentally, when he's going through, a 200 play call sheet, he has to go through that in 3 different positions in his head, really 4, emergency quarterback stuff too. You never know. Like he has to go through that and know everything, and he never misses an assignment. He's always on top of his stuff and he plays at a high level. And so the amount of mental task that he has to put into a week based on what people ask him to do, coaches ask him to do, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you probably had a chance to double your rushing yards today on the 3rd and long rollout, but kept looking for that MBS pass. What were you looking for on that play? Because obviously you had that yard if you wanted to take it.
Yeah, I took off running, but then I felt, I guess the motion, I have to see the film because I turned my back to it, but I guess the motion must have mixed him up backside, because I went to go run and then he popped in. And so I just gave it to him. I saw nothing behind him, and I knew he'd probably get more yards than I could.
That wasn't designed to free him necessarily. That's something you saw as the play.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, he's in the read, but it wasn't like for him. You know what I mean? But he ended up showing up. I just went through what I was supposed to go through, and he popped. And so, yeah, I just gave him the ball, and he did the rest.
What do you make of Juwan down the field on that same play? I mean, he's blocking the Stevie who felt like minutes.
Yep. Completely selfless. I just, those are my favorite kind of plays, is when you see guys doing that for their brother. And then he gets rewarded at the end of the game and catches a touchdown. I just think that stuff is so cool about the game of football. Whenever you're selfless and you just put others first, and man, yeah, I'm going to run 80 yards down this field and make blocks so you can get in the end zone. The game usually eventually, rewards you. And so to see that for him, I'm glad that happened. But you guys know Juwan, he's completely selfless, loves his teammates, loves this organization. He'll do anything. And so for him to be running down the field like that, I don't think it surprised any of us.
I think at the beginning of your training camp, we were watching Taysom pull back and tight end and running back. We're all kind of anticipating maybe he would be more involved, more opportunities to touch the ball. To see him kind of finally get that after kind of working through the injuries, like how fun was it watching him see him touch the ball 15 times?
It's been a lot of fun. And like you said, like you guys saw it all, OTAs and camp. Y'all saw like all the different spots we were putting him in and the different things that he was going to be able to do. But then injuries happen. I mean, y'all know the story. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff's happened to our team this year, injury-wise. So, finding the targets. We would like him to have this role, but he needs to have this role. All that kind of stuff. But the way guys are stepping up and playing in their positions, it's allowed his role to just be what we thought it was going to be. And so he's able to do so many things when he's on the field. What personnel do you put out there? Is he playing tight end? Is he playing running back? Am I motion out? Is he quarterback? What is he? Do you want to put faster bodies because he can run routes and beat tight ends and catch the ball? We saw him catch. I threw him 2 balls back to back. On a drive. There's like what do you do with him? I think for us, the versatility that he brings allows some confusion and some different things based on what personnel do you want to put in there, because we also go 3 tight ends with him in there and run the football, and we can throw it. And that just helps us. His ability helps us tremendously as an offense, and I'm sure for Clint to call plays.
If he didn't get $1,000 paycheck from Derek Carr last week, then he earned one this week.
He did not. He did not. I did not tell him if he had 3 touchdowns. Although I did say if he scored on the first play of the game again, because he had a chance. There was a chance that I would absolutely pay him. But no, thankfully I don't. My wife's happy. I don't have to pay him.
With everything this team has been through and where y'all are now, does this bye week come at a good time? Like, do you want a bye week, or is there
Yes.
a part that you want to keep?
Yeah, I think we definitely need a bye week. Absolutely. I know I'm being funny about that, but yeah, I mean, yes, there is something to keep playing. We know we have a lot to keep playing for and to play. And so our focus is not going to change, but going from training camp to how late our bye week is this year, we definitely need one. We were not running on E, but there are some guys that just need to rest. This game is violent. It's ridiculous. Some of the things that we put our bodies through. Like my brother always said, there's some things you guys do you would never imagine doing just in the living room of your house. Just diving backwards, landing on the back of your head 5 yards. Like, you're not going to do that. And so, yeah, doing that over and over again. Our team needs a rest. But I think the vision is clear to remain focused. But come back into work, when it's time to go and, be ready to go. But yeah, I think the rest is good right now. Because I think there's excitement, but it allows us to also look at, okay, we can be excited, but what are the things that we have to correct to continue to get better? It gives us a chance to breathe and do that as well. Oh, I love Jameis. I went straight to see him. Love Jameis. I think DeMario said it best. The thing I've been most impressed with is his walk with the Lord. Just what he's, the kind of person, the kind of husband, the kind of dad, that he is and that he wants to be. It's inspiring. You get around him and it's like, how are you not inspired? And I thought he played fantastic. I thought he balled out. He's a great quarterback, and to see him come in and play well, and to see him again, as soon as I saw him, I just start smiling, because every time he comes in the room, you're either smiling or you're laughing, it's one or the other. So to see him again, it meant the world to me, because we had a great time together. And so, I wish him the absolute best the rest of the season, and nothing but success, because he deserves it.
You kind of talked about the last couple of weeks, just feeling comfortable with the offense. Like you're playing with a bunch of guys that you haven't really played with this year. You're not receivers, right? Like how do you guys manage to establish that kind of connection to where you feel comfortable?
It's just a lot of communication. To say it easily, a lot of communication, a lot of walkthroughs, a lot of, and the guys I'm playing with, besides Kev being a young guy, they have experience, and so when I say something, it's not like I'm having to teach them what that means or anything like that. I can just say something envious, like, yeah, I got you, bro. Like, the one post he ran today, I had to throw it early. He's like, nah, I saw it. He's like, we talked about the angle and all that. I was like, I had to throw it early. He's like, yeah, no, he understands. He already knows, it's just nice having that experience to just say it one time or say something and he's on it. And so, it's not like, there's 4 just rookies coming into play and you got to teach them literally everything. These guys have played a lot of football. They've been through a lot of training camps and things like that. And so all that stuff has helped us, having experience at those positions, because, Chris and Sheed, those are our guys, and those are my guys. I love them to death. But with them being out, it's allowed these guys to come in, and thankfully they have experience, to understand, hey, this is what this route, it may be a route that's called something different here, but he's run it at some point. And it's like, hey, I need you at, top of the numbers, or, hey, man, I'm going to throw this thing bottom of the numbers, just be ready for it. And cover 2, I'll throw it here, and it's not like, wait, what does that mean? It's like, yep, gotcha. And so I think that has helped us a lot.
The last 2 weeks do for reminding you guys kind of what's still possible?
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to Albert Breer, and I told Albert, I said, we never have felt like we weren't a good football team. We had some adversity to go through, and did we walk through about 2 months of it. And so to be on the other side and get some success, I think it gives us confidence. I think it gives us confidence in what we believed of ourselves. It gives us confidence in, what we thought of each other. And, the 2 teams that we played have been, I just speak offensively, like those are two good defenses, and we've been able to score enough points to win football games. And I think that just continues to breed confidence in us that, yes, we are still the same team, from the first couple weeks. We're still that team. And is it going to be perfect going forward? No, but we still should have confidence every time we take the field that we have a chance.
We can wear you broke the Drew Brees curse today. I think fans say every game's attendance is 2021. Saints have lost until today.
Oh, really? Well, every time I see Drew, it's good to see him. I'm like, bro, it's good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. All right. Well, I promise you, it's not Drew's fault if we ever lost a game. I think we can all agree on that.
Maybe the Rizzy mojo overwhelmed the Brees.
I hope so. But we want Drew to show up every game. So yeah, hopefully that whatever that was, I hope it's over.
Is there something seriously to what Riz is doing? Just the intangibles, or is that overplayed? Just the way he carries himself.
No. I think he has a very how do I say, a very good feel on how to deal with this generation of player, and he's doing it really well. The way he's able. I've been around a few guys that are really good at, the way that they love their team and love their players, but can demand from them, and guys will appreciate and respond. And that's a fine line to walk, and he walks it really well. And so, I think that he's definitely had an impact on our football team for sure. And I'm excited for him, and we want to keep winning, so that maybe he gets a chance, to be the coach here for a long time. And so that's what we want as players. And so hopefully we can continue to have success, keep winning, and give him that opportunity. But for me to say that he hasn't had impact would be, wrong, because he has absolutely had an impact on our team, and he always has. But as a special teams coordinator, it's a little different. But when you're the head coach and everyone, eyes go, from one person, now they're all on you, and okay, motivate us. Where are we headed? I think he's pointed us and steered the ship in the right direction, and hopefully we can just keep executing at a high level for him, because we love him. Absolutely. No, there's no doubt about it. But when you think, we all thought Celtics when he said that.
Made up for it too.
Magic, thank you. Huh?
I thought that he did that for you to make it.
I hope so. I'll give Double D the credit. He probably is that smart that he knew that. So good. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, man. All right. I think that's it right there, man. That's a long ass press conference. When the Saints usually win, you see everybody. I'm surprised the janitor ain't got out there and started saying, "Hey, man, I'd like to thank y'all for helping me clean up." Picking up your own shit at the Dome. I thank y'all for that, man. Listen, man, janitor get involved, Pop, but let's see your thoughts on some of those interviews. What do you think?
Well, they're doing, they feel good. They won a tough game. I mean, Jameis came in here and, really threw some great balls. He played a great game, Jameis did. He just couldn't complete it because the Saints kind of figured him out toward the end of the third and most of the fourth quarter. He put a little bit more pressure on him than he had. He was in the first half, he was doing pretty good. They didn't get to him as much. They didn't put much pressure on him. But the second half, when they turned the heat up, Jameis faded back into who he normally is. But he just didn't throw any picks or anything like that. But we got the win, got the dub. That's what counts. I'm happy for the guys. They'll go home. They'll be off next week. They'll be able to rest up, get healed up, and hopefully we'll be ready, waiting on the Rams when they come to town the week after next.
Yeah, and you heard Derek Carr basically talk about the bye week, and the Saints are here, man, and I have to agree, man, with what happened with Eric McCoy, and then of course getting everybody to rest up after a physical game with the Cleveland Browns. Taysom Hill just showed out, man. He did an awesome job. So the reality is now, we get an off week right here to kind of recuperate and see what's going on. As happening in this week, Pop. You had several teams that were involved in bye weeks. The Giants, Cardinals, Buccaneers, and Panthers all had bye weeks this week as the Saints get theirs next week. Right. Matter of fact, let's kind of look at some of the halftimes. Some of the games is going on currently in the NFL. And here we go. With some of them here, as you can see, that the Falcons right now, man, and I told Lowe this, man, they be thinking I'll be playing. I told Lowe and them, I said, man, listen, the Saints will beget y'all collapse. We beat y'all and y'all going to start a losing streak. And right now, currently, the Broncos, led by Sean Payton, is beating the Falcons right before halftime, 21-16, and the Broncos have 25 seconds. They have the ball, so they're trying to add to the lead right now. So Broncos beating the Falcons 21-6. Actually, the Falcons have the ball now, so we'll see if they're trying to kick a field goal or something. Seahawks right now before halftime losing to the Niners 7-6. The Chiefs are started the start of the second quarter. They're trailing the Bills 13-7, trying to give the Chiefs their first loss of the season. The Bengals play later on tonight, and of course, these are the games that went final today. The Packers defeat the Bears 20-19. They get another one. They go in 7-3. Lions destroy the Jaguars 52-6. They improved to 9-1. The Vikings improved to 8-2 on the season. They beat the Titans 23-13. They keep it rolling. The Raiders lose to the Dolphins, who are now 4-6. They beat them 34-19. The Rams get a win over the Patriots 28-22. They improve to 5-5. That's our next ball club. The Rams will face the Philadelphia Eagles next. They'll face the Eagles this upcoming week while the Saints are off the bye. Once the Saints come off the bye, they'll travel to New Orleans. So they have a tough one against Philly. You see the Saints destroying or blowing out the Browns 35-14. The Colts getting a skinny win against the Jets 28-27. The Jets are now 3-8. What a dumpster fire that is with Aaron Rodgers there. And then the Ravens lose to the Steelers. The Steelers are 4-0 with your boy at the helm leading the Steelers, man. So with Russell Wilson at the helm for the Steelers, they've won 4 in a row, and they've beaten the Ravens today 18-16. So that's some of the games, man. That's all of the games that happened thus far. Good news for the black and gold in terms of just the fact that the Falcons are losing right now at halftime to the Broncos is good news as we keep this thing moving. So, Pop, so going into the half, quick questions here. Going into, before we get ready to end the stream, going into the bye week now, people are starting to kind of look and say, okay, we won 2 in a row. It's 2-0 now. Mm-hmm. Under Coach Rizzi, the Saints improved to 4-7 and now 3-3 at home. Mm-hmm. We have the rest week, and then we got the Rams out of that. The Rams going to be a bit of difficulty. The Saints still got a lot to solve. They had to over-rely on Taysom Hill at times because the offense just got stuck in the mud. We couldn't run the ball consistently with Alvin Kamara. We still got holes to clean up, things to iron out, wrinkles to fill, kind of stumbling and doing what we can to win and taking advantage, making the proper adjustments at the right time, especially in this game when it was forwarded up at 14-14. Then the Saints just scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. What are your 2 big concerns about the Saints, or 2 things the Saints need to work on? And then are they able to kind of put together a streak here after the bye week to kind of get back to 500?
Well, one thing, the defense. The defense has to tighten up. Their running game is they still having problems stopping the run. I noticed the Browns had some big runs against them, and they couldn't stop, and not getting off the field on 3rd down. Now, they consistently allowing teams to run the 4th down and make 4th down on them. That's one thing got to pick up. And then Carr still got to get in a little bit more rhythm. He's still which he looked pretty good today, but that was because he had Taysom in the lineup, and Taysom's presence in the offense confuses a lot of defenses, and that's, I think, what happened to an extent with the Browns today. Taysom was able to do, and for a big man, Taysom is very fast. It's not that he's slow; he's a big, fast man, and it's hard to catch that big rascal and get him on the ground. So I'm hoping that their defense would be a little bit more run stopping. Need to do more run stopping, try to get off the field. I can understand Jameson was dinking and dunking him for the most part down the field. Then he had that one play to Judy where he went off and scored a long touchdown. But for the most part, the secondary played pretty good because they defensed a couple of good balls. was thrown out toward them, and their defense was pretty good. One was knocked down, the other one, the guy just straight up dropped it. The DB was there, but the guy just dropped the ball, hit him on the shoulder pad. But that's some of the things that they got to get better at. That's some of the things they need to clean up, especially stopping the run. They need to, because see, the Rams gonna run the ball at them, because all the teams that they play notice that the Saints' run defense is not where it should be. I mean, they did some key runs, but they gave up too much on first down. Then he got short, third and short, and the team just blowing them off the ball to get the first down. So they got to figure out a way to stop the run. That's one of the Achilles heels of our defense. That stopping that run game. And guys up front got to do a little bit better on stopping the run.
Yeah, we got a lot going on, but the good part about it is the motivation and energy is high for Coach Rizzi to kind of get through it, and like they did do a pretty decent job today of kind of holding them down with the running attack. Pop, they did, but that's a lot of that was due to the fact that the Saints just opened up in the fourth quarter with a 21 point to nothing quarter. It kind of forced Jameis to start forcing the ball up the field.
Right.
DeMario talked about several times during the game, actually 2 times this game, one in the prior game. He should have had interceptions. He should have had interceptions to close down that. So yeah, we did leave them a few outings there, then and there. But yeah, we are definitely doing what we're supposed to do. The Saints on a 2-game winning streak. This is the first time we've seen this since week 1 or week 2. Yeah. So getting one like this and then coming out of the bye week and having extra time to prepare for the Rams could put you on 3. Then you got the Giants, and they're not very good. That might give you 4. So I don't want to be too far ahead. But the mission is to get back to 500 to be competitive. That's what it comes down to. Any other thing, there's really no room for any other era to be losing, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying, Pops?
Yeah, we don't have
any error.
We don't have any more room to lose games. So we have to play our level best, and we've got to make sure we shut down or control the run a little bit better. I could see us trying to do that because Cleveland ran the ball, especially on third down, first down. They would get you get a chunk play on first down, then it's easier for them. You need to stop the run, that first down run. Give them a 3 yards, stop them after 3. Well, it gives you a little bit more. The plays have to change. When you're doing that, you could stop them. If you could stop them, give like 3 run, they'll run 3 times, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and stop them right there. If we could stop them more on those first down runs that they're doing, then we have a good chance to get our defense off the field. But our defense stays on the field a little too much, that I've noticed. But of course, these guys rallied and they fought, and I'm proud of what they did today, because Cleveland could have come right in here with Jameson and smacked us around, took their heart from them, but they didn't let them do it. They took Cleveland heart from them. That defense was tired, and I saw that when you're trying to tackle that big rascal Taysom Hill, number 7 in the defense. But I don't want none of him. I don't want that fella. Him go. The last one, he just literally backed into the end zone, walked into the end zone. So. I'm saying, son, that's just the way it go. We need to do a little bit better with stopping that run. They get too many yards on first down. They hand the ball off, or they throw the ball out. They get too many yards.
Indeed. Big ups to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream, man. Listen, with the Saints, they get a nice, very confident billing win over Cleveland, 35-14. They improved to 4-7 on the season. They have a bye week to be able to kind of rest and recoup. And then, of course, looking at next week to see if the Saints ultimately, whether it's Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, bringing in wide receiver help, seeing they might bring in somebody to kind of help out in the wide receiver room. We do know that when the Saints face off a couple of weeks from now with the Washington Commanders and Jalen Daniels, that Chris Olave would be eligible, if it's healthy for him, to make a return for that game or after that time frame. So we'll see where the Saints want to go. In my perspective, I think the Saints should be looking in free agency and seeing they can find a veteran wide receiver, somebody off a practice squad, somebody can come and help the team. We did like how Pettis played. He had some phenomenal return ability, Kevin Austin Jr., but it's still a long season, and I would not just sit Stanley back with just that. I would keep trying to see if I could find somebody out there to help out these wide receivers, to help them out as well. We ultimately will get some of our other players back. We know Jamal Williams has been out. He hadn't been a thing. Kendra Miller, all those guys will be available down the line as well. So you will rest and take a deep breath and come back and get back to football, man. But for the Sports Coma and the family, we're going to continue on. There ain't no bye week for us. We're going to still handle the business. So anyway, with that being said, man, I'd like to thank everybody for chiming in on this episode of the show. We appreciate you. Thank you for the super chatters and the cash appers today. Y'all feel free to do me a service. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We up in this thing. Shout out to our sponsors of the show, man. Always jumping in too for the win. The sponsors are Mint Mobile. That's right. Get your phone. Check out your service on Mint Mobile. Save some money with Mint Mobile. Good service at a cheap rate. Shouldn't be paying an arm and a leg for cell phone service, especially if you're a person that have multiple cell phones on your plan like I do. You need to check it out. That'll save you some money. That'll save you some money for your budget. Teach Henley for the men, that's skincare products to help out. And also Bet Online, which is if you can't make money with the Saints, make money on the Saints. Somebody told me in the chat that they made some money with the Saints. So congratulations for you on that. But when you can't make money with the Saints, make the money on the Saints, because that's what they do to you. Anyway, with that being said, man, y'all check out the merch links in the description section. All our incredible sponsors of the show, their links are in the description section below. And then in showing them love shows us love as we continue to keep building forward with this platform. With that being said, we're going to get on that. I appreciate you guys. Y'all guys stay safe, and I'll see you on the Monday stream. Much love, and who that to you. Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees are Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them Saints. Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
Thank you for making Saint Central
Your black and gold home for the New Orleans Saints.
Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action, the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to Bet Online today to get in on all the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That Too.